Scooby-Dooby-Doo, where are you? We got some work to do now. Scooby-Dooby-Doo, where are you? We need some help from you now. Come on, Scooby-Doo, I see you, pretending you got a sliver. You're not fooling me, 'cause I can see the way you shake and shiver. You know we got a mystery to solve, so Scooby-Doo, be ready for your act. Don't hold back. And Scooby-Doo, if you come through, you're gonna have yourself a Scooby snack. Scooby-Dooby-Doo.
Welcome to another episode of Bringing Down the Grindhouse, a podcast where we discuss horror in media. And today, because we're recording during the day, it's Scooby-Doo month for us. Woo! We're checking out Scooby-Doo movies, and this is our part one
Jinkies
on Scooby-Doo. So, grab your glasses, hop in the mystery machine.
Oh, get your Scooby snacks.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, you got to get your
Scooby
Scooby
snacks.
snacks, definitely. As we
just weed.
dive into Scooby-Doo on Zombie Island and Scooby-Doo Witch's Island.
Witch's curse.
Witch's
ghost.
Witch's ghost, witch's ghost.
Wait,
All
no,
right.
we got to do this.
No,
again.
no, that's-
Nah.
No, that's
keep it.
fine.
So-
That's
Oh
fine.
my
We'll keep
God.
it.
It's so hard to name these movies because there's like 40-something animated movies that they've made for Scooby-Doo throughout the years, and these are the first ones that were made, the first and second.
So,
Well-
I'm Mitch, by the way.
Oh, I'm Murph. Fuck.
Hi, I'm just. Shut up. Hi, I'm Justine.
I'm Jonathan.
We're all drunk. No, we're not.
yeah, right. It's the middle. We're doing some
Yeah.
day drinking, you know.
Day drinking.
Yeah, it is the middle of the day. We are recording. This is weird. There's sunlight out.
It is a little weird. Yeah, we're used to
Yeah.
recording at night, so it kind of feels a little odd.
Yeah, throwing off my game.
Sorry.
But
It's my fault.
these were the first in a series of a straight-to-DVD Scooby-Doo movies in the 90s.
Yeah, which is much, much later than when Scooby-Doo originally came out. Then we're talking about the cartoon, like TV series that they had.
Yeah, not the live action from James Gunn.
What year did the original Scooby-Doo cartoon come out?
69, and it only aired for 1 year. I think Mitch was telling us more details about it.
Yeah, no, they did it for 69 to 1970 was the original works of Scooby-Doo.
17 episodes.
Yeah.
That's it. That's
Yeah.
what the original was.
Yeah.
Oh, so you can binge that shit, no problem.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
but what happened is after that first season came out, it was like a hit. Like it was the best cartoon to be released like ever during that time, and so they got so much popularity they started making reboots, other parts. They made like Scrappy-Doo
Yeah,
not
dude,
long after that,
Scrappy-Doo.
and then they showed like a younger version of them, and then Scooby-Doo, Shaggy, and Scrappy go off on their own and have their own set of movies.
Totally forgot about this shit.
So they kept it going, and then throughout the next like decades, they would make tons of animated movies.
And then
But,
I think the
yeah.
most recent series that came out
Yeah.
was What's New Scooby-Doo.
Yeah, What's New Scooby-Doo, which came out with the famous song from wow, I'm forgetting the
Simple
band.
Plan?
Yeah, from
Yeah.
Simple Plan, who made the music for it.
Damn. But also, they just made another animated movie last year.
Yeah,
Yeah.
with Courage the Cowardly Dog.
Oh, what? Really?
Yeah, the most recent animated film is Scooby-Doo and Courage the Cowardly Dog crossover.
Oh, I'm all
I need to
about
watch
this.
it. I still haven't watched it yet.
They just did like another live action Scooby-Doo also.
They
where
did,
a
which
pup
is
called Scooby-Doo
weird.
or something.
They made it like a Riverdale type show where it's live action, but really
The,
bad.
is it the dog, the
I
dog
have
is
not seen it, so
CGI.
I do not
Wait,
know.
is
I
the
have
dog CGI?
I think so. Yeah.
Oh, no.
I remember it being odd. I watched like one episode of it. I was like, I can't do it.
I'm going to hit you with some nostalgia, though.
Yes.
It's the Ghoul, like, the Ghoul University.
That was great.
That's, like, one of my
Oh.
favorite ones.
When Shaggy was like in his red shirt.
yeah.
The
Yeah,
only
that was a
time he had
weird
a different
phase.
outfit.
Yeah. They, like, go to, like, oh, no, it's the Ghoul School.
Yeah.
My bad.
He's like in a race too.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's when they beat all the like famous monsters as like little girls at a boarding school.
Isn't it their kids?
It's their kids.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
wholesome.
That was
But it's like
great.
one of the best
Oh,
movies.
wait, I remember. I think I first watched that in like preschool.
Yeah, you probably watched it
Right.
really young.
Oh,
There was also the
wow.
Booze Brothers.
That's great.
Oh, yeah.
There were like 3 bigger ghosts that had accents, and they had their
Yes.
caps all
Holy
backwards.
shit! I remember this.
yeah, you're getting a flashback. It's great stuff.
We got to mention that this was created by Hanna-Barbera. They basically made every cartoon in like the 60s and 70s.
Think of like the Jetsons as well.
Flintstones.
Josie and the
there.
Pussycats.
I'm Fred Flintstone.
Yeah.
Yeah,
remember
all
Flintstones?
kinds of shit.
Yeah, this is the kind of shit that you can only find now on Boomerang.
Yeah,
because
but that was the thing. They had to make Boomerang.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because the shows just got really old. These are cartoons from the 60s and 70s, and at some point they fell out of popularity, so they went to like a secondary channel for Cartoon Network, and then eventually got to Boomerang, and now you have to like pay cable television to watch them.
Yeah, if you are a kid from the 90s, then you will know that you could watch Scooby-Doo on Cartoon Network during that special period in
Right.
time, which is like 4 or 5 years. But then,
Just constant reruns. You got to see every episode multiple times.
yeah, like there's Geronimo. I totally forgot about that one.
Oh.
There's the fucking
Oh
the
my
sea man
God.
with the giant fucking. Oh, there's so many good ones. But I remember I had to go to my dad and be like, "Hey, Dad, can we get Boomerang?"
Yeah,
And
'cause
so
at some
that
point
was
they
pretty
stopped
funny.
showing it on Cartoon Network.
Right, and I had to have my fix. I was like a fucking kid junkie.
They kept making animated films pretty much all the way through. The ones we're talking about today, the first 4, including these 2, were made by the same director. And so that's probably why they're the best and they have the most consistency. Because after that, they changed directors and then they went to shit. And there's the whole like 20 to 30 of them that are just awful.
I
And
mean,
they were
they're
not
like
nearly as
20-minute
popular.
There's a few
episodes.
gems in there, but a lot of them.
Right. Kind of random. And then they eventually got to their live action movies.
At this point in their career, everyone knows what Scooby-Doo is, so they play with the tropes that everyone knows and like questions them from
Yeah.
the original series.
Yeah, what was really interesting about these movies is like all of the Scooby-Doo shows had a certain format. You know, all of the monsters are really just people in rubber masks. But in
Yeah.
this case of the movies, there were actual monsters
Yeah.
included as well as people in rubber masks.
I think this is
Yeah.
why they were so successful, because they were actually getting into moments where they're having these real horror things come to life and change the way that your format was, like you mentioned. So you definitely had the villain getting unmasked at the end of every episode, and their whole point was to be like, the villains are all of the people, not these
Right.
monsters. They make these monsters and they're making
It's
all
just
that
a guy in
social
a sheet.
commentary.
Guy
And
with
so
the mask.
once these movies came out, they realized that some of these things like were real, and so this is when they had to deal with something different.
It was a more adult take.
Like in the
mostly.
case of Zombie Island, for our
Right.
first movie that we're going to be talking about, they go down to the south to
Oh,
this
yeah.
little bayou town. I think they actually went to New Orleans, but
Yeah.
they went out to the bayou to a plantation. of
Yeah,
some
they end up on a
sorts.
plantation where they're growing chili peppers.
Yeah. And the women that run the plantation happen to be immortal witches, essentially, that
Weren't they
turn
like
into cat ladies.
monsters?
Yeah,
Furries.
so I guess how that went down is
Furries,
they
yeah.
sold their soul to some sort of deity
Yeah.
and then
It's like a
were
cat
granted
god.
immortality, but they are also become cat people during a full moon, and
They
they
gotta
have
like
to kill
sacrifice.
people
Yeah,
and absorb their life force, which is pretty dope.
Which
Actually,
is pretty fucking dark for a Scooby-Doo
it is
Yeah.
very dark. They have like Civil War ghosts too that are
Yeah.
like stuck on the plantation because they were killed.
So, fun fact: there's a show from Hanna-Barbera that was called SWAT Cats, I think, and there was an episode that actually ended up getting scrapped where the concept was really similar to this, and the animators and writers that worked on that show also now work on Scooby-Doo, and so they
Of
brought
course.
that episode into their movie this time.
Now, I will say this, like the writing on this is really well done.
Yeah,
There were just general moments where I laughed really
it was
hard.
believable too for like how they interact with each other. Like they've obviously been a team for a long time and are really good friends.
You see character development for
Also.
the first time with these characters.
Oh yeah, huh?
Like Fred is spawning like a new kind of he's more of a support role for Daphne rather than saving her all the time.
Yeah.
She's more like
Yeah.
business oriented.
She's
like
fighting back now. She got moves.
yeah,
all
she
of a
got
sudden.
moves.
That was done on purpose. I was
Yeah.
reading articles about it, and they wanted to change the view that people had on Daphne because for a long time she was the damsel in distress, and they were like, "No, we need to change up her style." So that's why they all have different clothes.
Right.
So she has she's gone into like her own career and is successful at it, and so she's the main driving force for why they go there in the first place. She's like, I got to get a story out of it, and so they did that purposefully. Her and Velma both are like really integral to the story because they probably find out the most of all
Yeah.
of the characters.
The other dudes are just sort of there for support. But honestly, if the girls weren't there, they would never get
Yeah.
anything done. It'd just be two like
yeah, I stand
himbos running around.
Himbo Island.
It would
Himbo
just be
Island.
Shaggy and Scooby eating, and then
Yeah,
Fred just
exactly.
being like,
Fred
huh,
like
we should
what's
coaches.
going
split
on
up.
over here? Well, let's split up, gang.
And then he just takes Daphne every time.
What a simp.
Yeah, honestly, I love the new cartoon like conspiracy theory where they think that Velma and Daphne are a couple
I love that.
because they often trade clothes in the new cartoon.
oh,
And so they're just like, how could they possibly be doing this? Like they would go to like sleep in the same room, and then the next morning they're like switched clothes. And so people are like, they're totally having sex. What the hell? But like they can't do it explicitly, so this is how they're doing it.
I'm the biggest Velma stan in this movie.
Yes.
I 100% support whatever she does.
Amen.
I loved too when they had the crossovers with other shows when they did it with like Johnny Bravo.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
fucking Johnny
And
Bravo.
Velma and Johnny Bravo are interested in each other, which
yeah,
is hilarious
So fucking great.
because they both have their glasses.
How's it going, baby? You want to meet my mama?
Oh my god!
I mean, both of these movies actually present real danger
Also.
to them.
Yeah.
Which is one of like the big. This is like what you guys were talking about with all the adult themes and stuff. And
There's blood on the sword.
They totally
Yeah.
could have
Yeah.
died during these movies.
yeah, no, definitely. They did do like the soft take though, where the zombies were actually just trying to warn them.
Right? Yeah.
And then
They weren't gonna eat him.
Oh, okay. One of the darkest things though is when they're explaining the origin story of why they become cats and shit.
Yeah, that's pretty
And they
fucked up.
talk about like putting all the people like running into the bayou.
Yeah.
And they just have a swarm of crocodiles just go at them.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my
that
god.
was some heavy shit for a Scooby-Doo movie. I was like, oh, so they just all got mauled by
Yep.
crocodile.
That's
Like
always the
fucking
cool
gators.
thing about
Very
these sort of
nice.
like iconic cartoons is that typically when you're a kid watching TV, it's like the family TV. So everybody
Yep.
watches it with you. And oftentimes that means your parents are going to be watching cartoons with you. So it's cool that they have something that appeals both to children and also has certain themes that can appeal to adults as well.
Yep.
Right. I'm rewatching the original He-Man series.
Fucking great.
And I'll be honest, my phone is on most of the time that I'm watching it. It's just very good background
yeah,
stuff, but like every now and then I'm like, ooh, the action's so cheesy. I love it.
I feel like I did that with Thundercats.
Yeah, it's the same
The
thing.
same shit.
But the thing is, I watched like the new series.
Yeah.
They like updated it
I need
more
to watch that
for
one.
like a modern audiences. There's people that get cut down in that movie. Or, well, a couple people do.
Yeah.
So it's like super more adult. Also, Henry Rollins plays Triclops.
What the fuck? Oh, I did not know that.
That's hilarious.
They had some interesting people for the voices for all of these cartoons too. They've consistently had the same people play all of the characters for the cartoons for like decades.
Like
They
Mark-
only recently changed it
this
in the
was
new
like
one.
was this prior? Mark Hamill's in Zombie Island.
Yeah. Well, fucking God, who is he in that
Isn't
one?
he that beefcake dude?
Yeah.
he's the beefy
Yeah.
furry.
Yeah. The BB.
Right?
Yeah. So I don't know. Is this prior to doing Batman or was this after?
Fuck. I don't.
I think Batman was like 94, right? Where he is the Joker.
Yeah, I think this is before.
No, this is
Oh wait,
98.
no. Yeah, it was after.
So Mark Hamill is also in the new He-Man
Dude,
series. He
it
plays
does not
Skeletor.
surprise me at all because he's been doing voice acting for such a long time.
He knows he can make good money off of it.
Yeah, and that's how he sort of kept like all of his money coming in because for a long while he hadn't been in any movies, so they were like, let's just go into voice acting.
Right.
So
And it worked because he
has
has a great voice for that kind of voice.
Skeletor
acting.
is great. I love that voice.
The name of the character he voices is Snakebite Scruggs.
Scruggs, Snakebite Scruggs.
Well, that's the Crocodile Dundee kind of guy.
Gotcha.
He's like, I'm trying to get a big catfish. And he has a fucking hunting pig.
Yeah.
which sounds so dope.
It's real too. People actually do that shit.
I mean, isn't that like where your truffles are and stuff like that?
Kind of,
Yeah.
yeah, you can
Pigs
do
to
that.
get truffles?
They have very powerful noses, and they can smell stuff that's underground, like certain funguses.
Little oinkers.
Yeah. Oh my god.
So how do they beat the cat women though? I'm trying to remember.
Uh,
They get a hold of their dolls.
Yeah.
Their voodoo dolls.
Yeah, so they really have like straight up voodoo dolls in this, where they're like throwing it against the wall and stuff.
They're like breaking their arms.
Yeah,
and shit.
I was like,
they
oh.
put it near the fire. You
Yeah.
can see them like melting.
That
Which
shit
is
was
another
Well-
crazy way to die. Imagine
Yeah,
getting melted
what the
alive.
fuck?
So they got their voodoo dolls away from them, but they also had to do the ritual by like midnight.
Right, they had a time
And
period.
so they basically just ran out the clock. They just survived them long enough that they melted and died.
This is true. They technically speaking just waited it out. This is like your worst case scenario. Like if you're playing fucking D&D and the thing had a timer, you just survived long enough to get past it, which is really true. But that was sort of like you didn't become aware of that time clock that they were on until like a little later in the film. So up until that point, there was kind of no rush for them
Right.
to do anything in the film.
I really appreciate the film because it tries to be like old cheesy horror movie because there's like that one.
Right.
They're filming the entire thing. Too.
Yeah.
So it kind of has like that Blair Witch feel. in
Yeah, the
beginning.
found footage.
But the one thing I gotta say is this guy is a fucking like CIA agent at the end of the movie. He's like, yeah, I'm FBI. Like I've been investigating for a while.
Yeah, it doesn't find shit. I was like, that's always happening in those kinds of movies.
But yeah, I like this one. I think this one deserves like a 9 for me.
Ooh, shit.
I give it an 8.
Yeah, probably an 8 or 9. I'm gonna agree with
Yeah.
Justine 8.
I'm gonna give it like an 8.5.
for Zombie Island.
Yeah,
Zombie Island totally gets an 8 from me.
8's all around.
Yeah, it's good.
Also, I do have to mention, while the writing and sound are made by Americans, all the animation is made by Japanese studios and
Yeah,
Japanese people.
No
Which
wonder it
the-
looks so good.
There was they were consistent about that too for a long time until the most recent like reboots of it, which have completely different styles, and it kind of throws me off.
You could see Thundercats inside these cat women.
Yeah, that's fucking real. Oh my god! So the same fucking animators who
I
did
mean,
that.
some of it reminds me of like those Batman cartoons and stuff from that era also.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But which is the next one? The Witch's Mystery, right?
No,
I love that
witch's
you guys.
ghost.
I love that you guys keep getting it
Yeah.
wrong. It's so funny.
The Witch's Host.
The
All
witch's
right.
toast.
A Witch's Snow.
Oh.
What?
Try again.
The Witch's
Also, we
Boast.
hadn't mentioned it yet, but the director is Jim Strenstrom. And that is the guy who did the first 4 films of the animated
Good
films,
guy.
including the one we're about to talk about.
Yeah, so witch's ghost featuring Tim Curry.
Featuring Tim
Yeah!
fucking Curry.
And for
We love
some
Tim
reason,
Curry.
Billy Ray Cyrus did the intro song.
Which is great.
Wait, was there an intro song?
Yeah, there's an intro song. They did the Scooby-Doo song, but
Yeah.
Billy Ray Cyrus
They
sung
did like
What?
an alternate of it.
it was like a country version.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Maybe that's
yeah.
why we didn't notice.
We don't hear country.
Yeah. Someone tried to play country at the party. Never mind.
I
I was like, I just pulled out the finger guns. Who played this shit?
It's like, I think we immediately have to talk about the Hex Girls.
Oh, yeah.
Because they're like
Our favorite
the most
cartoon goth
iconic. Yeah,
girls.
like literally, this has to be the reason why so many younger people were like, "I need to be exactly like them." Goth people.
I meant
Well, this was also in the 90s
It's
when those
90s, yeah.
subcultures are really starting
Exactly.
to gain popularity.
I have a strong feeling that they were like, "This is a subculture that will appeal to our audience. We have to include them." And then made custom music for them too, like
Yeah.
3 songs, I think, 2 or 3 songs for them.
I think 3 because you've got the one when they first meet them.
Yeah.
And you got the other one they do at like the end. And
Yeah.
then you have the credits.
Yeah.
And they're good. I
Yeah,
like
yeah,
these songs
they're
a
all
lot.
fun
Good
songs.
They're catchy. What's interesting is that both of these movies have pretty low ratings. Like they like all around were kind of low rated by like critics, but they're all adults. Like
Yeah.
criticizing the cartoons, and like all of the kids loved it. It was obviously popular enough for them to keep making.
they would
more.
rerun this shit on
Yeah.
Cartoon Network for sure.
And we've all seen these like multiple times.
But the thing that surprises me is that what are they rated at? Like 7 or 6?
Oh, they're like 40-50% for like Rotten Tomatoes, but like that's
Okay,
just
you
like
know what?
looking back.
That's pretty good considering they're straight to DVD.
Also,
Yeah.
that's true.
Because like straight to DVD is usually like 20 to 10%.
yeah, you're right.
I'm looking at you, Lost City of Atlantis.
Oh,
What a trash ass
Yo, the
sequel.
fucking production quality drop is insane.
my
Oh, do you see that fucking
hurts.
second movie?
I
I was
don't
like,
wanna-
oh my god.
I don't want to talk about it.
That's fucking great. I did also appreciate that the Hex Girls talked a little bit about the about Wiccan and like their sort
Well,
of
that was
study
sort
of
of
it.
the running theme throughout
Right.
this movie because, you know, you have the witch's ghost, obviously, and
Yeah.
then you have Tim Curry's character, who's like this pretentious writer. What was his name again?
God, I forget his name. I gotta look it up.
Ravencroft.
There you go.
Ravencroft. What was his first name?
Who fuck if I know?
It's like, I don't fucking know.
Ravencroft Curry.
I don't know. All I knew was Velma wanted to fuck.
Oh, yeah.
Honestly.
No, definitely. But he's basically, the premise is he's trying to clear his family name by convincing everyone that his
Right.
ancestors weren't evil witches. When it turns out they actually were evil
Okay.
witches.
Yeah.
That was the biggest plot twist ever.
No, I literally looked. Like they're like, we need to find this book. We're about to find this book, and I looked at Mitch. And I was like, how funny would it be if she wasn't a holistic healer, but like a ghost or like a witch?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's exactly what
And
happens.
so in this movie, they also explain Wiccans who are they practice nature-based religions and focus on healing, love and light, all that good stuff. What he's trying to convince everyone that his ancestor actually was.
Right.
But you have Thorn, who it's kind of weird is that they do the whole like bloodline
Wiccan
thing.
blood.
Yeah, she has Wiccan blood.
1/16.
Which
Which
I
is
didn't even.
like-
Was that a thing? I
No,
didn't
not
know.
a
fuck
thing.
no.
Okay, I thought that was like that. Did they just make this up for the
No,
movie?
Wiccans are not a
Yeah.
they're not a
Wiccans are a
ethnicity.
culture.
Yeah, what
They're
the
not a
fuck?
culture. They're well, it is a culture. It's not an ethnicity though.
Yeah,
And
you
it is a
can't like you
religion.
can't get a bloodline going.
Right.
It's kind of just like a handed down thing.
Yeah.
I have Buddhist blood in me.
Yeah,
It's
right.
like that.
You know?
Yeah, I got. We must remember that the Hex Girls are eco goths.
Ooh.
Also,
Yeah, they're eco goths.
Very
Which
conscious
is
about
like
it.
super comparable to the idea of Wiccanism because
Yeah.
Wiccanism, nature based, they basically worship religion
And-
or nature. Sorry.
Right? Aren't they themselves practicing witches in the film?
No, but they
Or they're
do-
like faking it, kind of.
Well,
like
the only one
for-
who's not faking it is Thorn. She actually does practice,
Right.
but they also like will join in for some of her herbal sessions. What they were doing before when they were talking about the
Herbal
ritual they
sessions.
had to do before their performance.
Yeah, they even talk about
they
it.
burned like peppermint and cloves so they can soothe their vocal cords.
Nice.
Gotta try that shit.
Yeah.
It seems to me that they did a little bit of research for the movie to make it like just believable enough for you to not really question it too much and be like, all right, yeah, that makes sense.
They
And
even,
then
they
just
even
lets the
compare it to
movie
like
go.
Salem slightly.
Also, yeah,
But I do know that this was kind of a 2-for-1 though, because there is a plot with the mayor and everyone else who are trying to like basically get more tourists into the area.
Yeah, so this is where we get how the movies incorporated the old ideas of Scooby-Doo of people in masks
Yeah.
with the new ideas of actual supernatural
Right.
beings. So you have these townspeople, really small town, doesn't get a whole lot of traffic, and they're trying to make a little more money. So what do? You get a nice tourist attraction, which happens to be Witch's
Supernatural.
Ghost.
Supernatural.
Supernatural Witch's Ghost.
Yeah, and then
Yeah.
then immediately like, you get your shirt yet, dude?
Yeah, get your witches merch.
Yeah, fuck.
So something interesting about these two movies is when Zombie Island came out, like you guys had already mentioned, this was pretty dark stuff. It was actually like way scarier than what they had created. And the studio, Warner Bros., who had like allowed it to be made, thought it was just going to be a one-off that kids wouldn't like it as much. And so they gave them a lot of creative freedom, which was not given to them for the second film, for the Witch's Curse. So they asked them to like scale it down, essentially. So that's why it's like not quite as scary as some of the other ones. And also they brought in new writers. So the executives were like, here, you have to use these writers. And they're like, what the fuck? Like, our first team made that first movie. What's the problem? And kind of like forced some of the writers out. So that's why
Aw.
you have a difference in like the dialogue and everything that you see there. It's a little more like serious and toned down for the Witch's Curse because they didn't want to give them full creative freedom.
It's a little bit more formulaic.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
The old days.
And that's because the studio execs had a say in it and they loved their formulas for movies.
God damn it.
So they had a hand in changing out how the story
like
played
that was
out.
the thing too. There's a loss of like badassness from Daphne.
Also. Yep, exactly.
At one point, she literally says, "Fred, why do you always pull me aside when we split up?"
Yo.
And, and he was just like,
That was great.
Also, Fred wants to fuck Thorn. I could tell in his
Oh,
eyes.
totally.
He's like down for the goth chicks. It's so great. They would kill him.
Oh, Fred.
Oh.
Yo. Also, the original script had a different ending.
What was
The ending was going to say that the town was created the witch to exploit people for like money.
No.
But they were like, nah, that's a lame ending, and so they're like, actually, the witch is real, and that's the ending they went with.
She has some crazy ass powers.
I mean, that's good because it
Right.
like just like what Zombie Island did.
Yeah, it's real.
It makes it a real thing. I mean, now you have the Tim Curry warlocks throwing spells at everyone. That's kind of gnarly.
I thought it was gnarly that he got sucked up into the book at the end.
Yeah,
And
what
then
the fuck?
burned the book.
Yeah, what the
Holy
fuck?
shit!
Oof.
Yeah. I mean, the witch.
The chick.
The chick. The witch is like, she talks old timey, and I think the funniest exchange is when he's like, I brought you into this new modern world. And she just sees like the entire set from like the history area.
Yeah.
And she's like, I see nothing new here.
They had a lot of funny moments in these, and I think it's like that was intended on purpose, like they did in the show with Scooby and Shaggy being like the comic relief, and they're also like super scared of everything.
I have a question for you. Guys.
Yeah.
What's in the Scooby snacks?
What's in the Scooby snacks?
What's
Didn't
in
they
the
explain
Scooby
it at some point in the TV show?
It's called THC, John. That's what's in the Scooby
I
snacks.
was about to say Scooby snacks are edibles.
I mean, it was made in the 60s, late 60s, so this is obviously a joke about stoners and always eating.
Yeah.
And all of the rest of them are like this is your commune that's all moving together, and they live out of the fucking van or wherever they end up. So like that was definitely the theme they were going for. I mean, look at the van colors.
Yeah.
It's literally like a psychedelic painted van.
And even their original outfits, like fucking Fred had an ascot. Like what the fuck?
And then Daphne's sporting this very like 60s mod fashion.
Yeah, her outfit was kind of dope though.
Yeah.
So there is also a drink called the Scooby Snack
I just looked that up because I was
Oh,
trying to see if
what?
they had an actual recipe.
I've actually had it before.
What?
It is a green drink. It's made with coconut rum, creme de banana, melon liqueur,
Nice.
pineapple juice, and whipped cream.
This shit sounds pretty good. Yeah, it looks weird, but it looks.
Oh yeah, no, it's
Let me
this
see
weird
this
green. It's this weird green
yeah.
drink.
It looks
that-
like-
Dude, that's dope.
It looks like that Shamrock Shake from McDonald's. That's what it looks
That
like.
shit's dang.
it's pretty delicious, to be honest. It's a very delicious drink. You will not know that there's alcohol in
That's
this.
funny. I distinctly remember an episode where maybe it was in the later reboots where they talk about how the Scooby snacks are made, and like they get to go, I think, to one of the places where they make them.
Interesting.
They get to visit there because Velma takes Shaggy and Scooby over, and then you get to figure it out. But I mean, for both of the films, I think even though they were a bit predictable, if you knew what Scooby-Doo was, you enjoyed it because like this is what you signed up for them to figure out who the villain was, and in these cases they were actually real. So it's a twist on what you usually expected, like we mentioned earlier.
I haven't seen a Scooby-Doo property in a long time.
Yeah, it's been a long time.
I mean,
since
I
watched
think the
TV
last time I
show.
saw these movies was when I was watching it on air on
On
Cartoon
TV?
Network.
Same.
on your CRTV.
That
On my
was
CRT.
really though. That was definitely the last time I saw. Because I distinct like watching them. I'm like, okay, so I've seen both of these before.
Yeah, definitely.
Easily, but it's been so long since I've watched anything Scooby-Doo related. It might have been one of the live action movies was the last Scooby-Doo thing that I watched, and that's years and years ago.
Thank you, James Gunn. We all knew Velma was hot. But
Oh
he
my
cemented
god,
it.
that became like an instant cult classic because of the way he handled that film. Because he's obviously a good filmmaker, but people hated that movie because they're like, it's too predictable. And he's like, it's Scooby-Doo. What do you want from me? Like we've seen the TV series already.
Also, we got our boy Matthew Lillard as Shaggy.
Who is the perfect casting ever in any role. And it's sad because they didn't include him for one of the newer things.
I also just I think that these current animated movies that we're talking about, these 90s ones, also tried to make Velma hotter. She lost the bagginess of the whole thing.
That is real.
And they're like now she's like form fitted.
There's also a scene where she's like floating and she has to like bring her skirt down.
To get on Tim Curry's dick.
Also,
that's totally happening. That's happening.
I mean, if we're being honest, he was chopping back. So
she was interested in another intellectual. Is
Yeah,
what was
exactly. Yeah,
happening.
that's what it was.
But he was
yeah.
just really
But
looking
he was
to
kind of a
exploit
hack.
her.
Yeah, exactly.
He wanted
Total
to
hack.
exploit her for intelligence and
Yeah,
use her to
that's real.
find his book.
I mean, this is just how it is with finding love, isn't it?
I mean, not as
Most
weird
of
as
them
Scooby and
just-
Shaggy marrying aliens in the later films.
Oh yeah,
Oh.
but we'll get to those.
That makes
next
sense,
week.
though.
You know,
We'll get to this.
There was wild shit going on for some of these, but I liked them. As far as like what kind of relevance they have to like popular media in general, everybody knows who they are. You can ask any random person in the United States, they know who Scooby-Doo is because they made so much merchandise at some point. They had so many reruns of the TV series, reboots. You know who they are. And they had these characters because they wanted people to identify with them. So like you have to at least identify with one character on Scooby-Doo, and that usually is why you kept watching because you're like, oh, you saw yourself in these people. And so that was why I think it was so popular. You had like people who were scared, like Shaggy and Scooby, which is hilarious because I feel like I associate with those characters the most. I'm terrified of all of the horror things, and so I would be those people in the scenarios, and then just freaking out the whole time.
Just now I just have a wild guess, but maybe Shaggy and Scooby eat so much because it's stress.
Yeah, they're
induced.
nervous.
They're just stress
It's
eating.
nervous eating.
Oh,
It's a combination
no.
of stress and munchies.
And being high as fuck all the time, you know.
Like Zoink Scoob, I'm gonna eat a fucking pizza.
Yo, maybe that's why they smoke so much because they're just such anxious people.
Yeah.
But I feel like the weed might make them even more
God.
anxious.
And they're even more hungry.
They're
It's
always
like an
being-
eternal cycle of food
always
and
being forced
anxiety.
into it.
You doing all right, Mitch?
Like, hello.
Oh yeah, like Zoinks, dude.
They also created a huge amount of tropes that you can see in other media, like when they would have people chasing them, or they would be chasing someone, and they'd go in and out of multiple doors.
Yeah.
You've seen that in like so many different
It's been
popular media
spoofed.
things. Yeah, they've spoofed it so many times. Or the splitting up thing. Like that was probably originally attributed to this cartoon where they're like, hey, you know what we should do? We should split up. And like that happened all the time in different horror films where they're trying to do something like this.
And then also they do that fucking fake out ending and
Yeah.
and like some other stuff. They're like, you meddling kids.
I love
I've seen that in so many movies.
They got taglines. Like they said certain phrases. Like you just said one where
Yeah.
Velma has her catchphrase and so does Shaggy.
Yeah.
My glasses. I can't see without my glasses.
Oh.
That was a running joke that she constantly lost her glasses and then would not see the monsters around her because she was trying to find her glasses.
She would actually like knock them over, like put them in a weird device.
Yeah.
She's like, oh, there they are. Oh, look, the fucking monster.
You also mentioned earlier how it was kind of like a comfort thing that you could put on in the background. And the reason why is because they kept using these formulas over and over again. You knew how the episode was going to play out. And it's why people watch certain movies. They know how the movie's going to go and it's comforting. And so in this way, you can play these anytime.
Like at the end of the day, I know they're not gonna die.
Also,
I know that they're gonna be back in the mystery van going to the next place.
yep.
I know He-Man isn't gonna die. He's gonna fuck up Skeletor. But I just want to. I mean, I want to see what happens. I guess this is an ode to formulas in the cartoon industry.
Yeah, also they created kind of the basis for what other cartoons would do afterwards. Like there's some like cornerstone cartoon, which this one is included along with, you know, the Jetsons, the Flintstones, and like these are going to be the main cartoons that other ones would create off of. And it's
Yeah.
because they created that standard, like in this case, they're sort of their own family. They do introduce their family members later, but they sort of built these cartoons around families.
Yeah, and I would say that they gave it longevity because my parents introduced me to like Scooby-Doo and the
Nice.
Jetsons and stuff like that because
Yeah.
that was the cartoons that they had
Right.
at that time. So it's kind of like if I were to have children,
What could
and then I would be like, here's Hey Arnold.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah.
You know, but I don't think that Hey Arnold has as big of a like cultural like withstanding
Probably
that,
not.
that Scooby-Doo does, so it would be a lot different. But
Kind of now thinking about it, I think the one that is the most common now that most people would feel is like has a cultural influence would be like Adventure Time.
yeah, Adventure Time is
or-
the now.
Or like
SpongeBob.
yeah, specifically like within the
SpongeBob.
SpongeBob is another one. God, what is it? Steven Universe is another one where like tons of people have seen
I
it.
feel like Impossible
Also,
too.
yeah, going back a little bit, Kim Possible is one of them. I used to watch this show all the time.
Wait, does anyone remember what the Mexican food place Bueno Nacho?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I also enjoyed the one episode where her friend behind the computer finally shows up.
That's so funny.
And you're like, oh, shit.
I've come here. You're just on a screen. No. And then you see his wide leg with like giant white socks. You're like,
Yeah.
the nerd came out, dude.
That's great.
Wait, wasn't that in one of the movies?
I think so, yeah. I think he was one of the...
Yeah.
The guy in the
movies they
chair
did.
finally gets out of the
Yeah.
chair.
What was his name? Wade?
Yeah, wait.
Wade.
Yeah. So I was like, that's cool.
All right, what do you guys rate the witch's ghost?
I feel like it's not quite as good as the first one, so I'm gonna give it like a 7.
I give it an 8.
I'm also giving it a 7.
I only liked it as much because of the Hex Girls. I'm not gonna lie.
That was definitely one of the high points of it, but also it just, I don't know, it wasn't as captivating as the
Yeah.
other one was.
I'm gonna give this a 7. I like the giant turkey though.
Yeah.
giant
I
turkey.
forgot.
How could we not mention
I know,
the
we
giant
didn't
turkey?
This movie became like a Thanksgiving.
Yeah,
They
they started showing it
like
around
Scooby-Doo
Thanksgiving
movie.
time too, which is interesting.
Also, the Evil Dead reference was cool.
Oh, that's true.
Where they had the tree wrapping
Yeah.
up Daphne. I was like, don't do it.
Oh,
don't do it.
no. It's like, yeah, you could just look that up on your own.
Yeah.
All right. Walk us. Oh, wait. I got to walk us out. God damn it. It's been a while. We've been away for a little bit working on
Yes.
new content for you.
Are we?
Yes, we absolutely are. We've been working on way too much content. Too much content. I can't handle all this
gosh.
content. It's pouring out of my pockets.
You have me pick up some of this content, put it in my coat pocket.
Yeah. All right. There
Grab
we go.
my hat and my mittens.
Thank you for listening to Bringing Down the Grindhouse, a podcast where we discuss horror in media. And if you would like to support us, check out our Patreon, where for $2 a month, you can support us. Also, give us a recommendation for horror media to review. Also, if you would not like to do that, you could also check out our merch website, which is on our link tree in our bio on all social media platforms. It is our Teespring, where we have hats, shirts, and cups. Cups of all kinds. Teacups.
Glasses.
Glasses. For beer.
Wine glasses.
Wine glasses. Maybe. In the future.
Wine moms love bringing down the grindhouse.
Yeah. Give us to your wine mom today. Also, check us out on our socials. We have the Instagrams, the Twitters, and the Facebooks. Please let us know anything, really. Come talk to us. Also, it is Spooky Month. Fuck yeah.
Yes, we're officially into like probably the best month for our podcast.
Yeah. Nice program as
Yes,
well, right?
go get
Yeah.
20% off.
Use our code BDTGH at checkout and you'll get 20% off and give us a cute little something while you're at it.
Tonightsprogram.com is where you can go.
Check out their merch. Got a lot of cool shirts, jackets.
It's that season.
It's that season.
Yeah,
Get
it's
your
finally
spooky
getting
wear.
Get your
cold.
spoopy stuff.
It's gotta be long.
Halloween's coming
Don't
up
be
on
a
us
fucking
quick.
square.
It's
Get
gotta
your
be
spooky
long
wear.
sleeve season, everyone. I'm back in
That's the
business.
slogan.
Yeah, isn't it?
It is.
I'll
Yeah.
start
what?
using that. I just came up with that.
Say it again.
Oh wait, I forgot it.
Don't be a
Oh,
square.
yeah.
Get your spoopy gear.
Spoopy wear.
Spoopy wear. There we go.
It rhymes
God
better.
damn. Yeah. It does. What I said didn't rhyme.
Don't be a square. Get your. Oh no.
Spoopy.
Spoopy wear.
Scooby-Doo.
Just breaks out into the song.
Fucking do the outro, bitch.
Yeah. I'm Mitch.
I'm Murder.
I'm just seeing.
Tom Johnson, thank you.
Good night. Good
It's
day.
the middle of the day. Just need to stop.
Fuck.